Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I am taking you to Berlin. Whether you are arriving by plane, train, or bus, even automobile, this city has so much to offer. Let's get into it. Schönefeld is the international airport that I flew into. I was able to do this from Budapest with Ryanair. Ryanair is a low-budget airline. The deals are so crazy for Europe. It's cheaper to fly on the plane than the trains. I can show you this one here. I just looked it up to see what the prices were like, if they still were the same as when I went a few years ago. One way from Hungary all the way to Germany, $15. That is insane. I remember sitting in Ryanair plane. I already knew the deal. Yes, the seats are crammed in together. If you are tall, your knees might be touching the back of the neighbor's seat. This flight is less than 2 hours. I don't like when I'm seated all the way in the back, but if I ask the flight attendant, hey, I'm just traveling by myself, can I move up? Yeah, they might oblige. It depends on how full the plane is. Also, this flight, the one that was so cheap, less than $20, it was late at night. I think it was 10 p.m. And yes, that's okay arriving to Germany at that time. It is up to you. Y'all know I love to find cheap deals, cheap flights. My playlist of Europe is going to be so long and extensive for you guys because it's one of the cheapest areas to travel around. Now, the only thing is with Ryanair, it's low budget airline. So I did not bring a carry-on. I had a very small backpack. They're going to give you the dimensions for you so that you're not charged. If you can do that, it's even good because nobody wants to walk around the European cobble streets with tons of luggage. I've seen many TikToks with people struggling. But if you are team carry-on, man, you can fly all around Europe with Ryanair. Here's a few tips to help streamline your arrival at Schönefeld. You want to go ahead and use the Airport Express to get to the city center. You can also use the S-Bahn. You can also consider purchasing a Welcome Berlin card for discounts on transportation and local attractions. Now, should you fly or take the train to move around Europe? Well, it depends on your personal preference. Take into consideration factors such as your budget, time constraints, and which destinations that you're trying to see. Flights are faster and they're going to be cheaper for long distances. However, train travel, you're going to be able to see the sights of the cities in between the rural towns. The view is much better in my opinion. And it's easy for you to connect to the city center because a lot of these European cities, the train stations are right in the middle. I think moving around Europe is not going to be that difficult. With this particular trip, I initially flew to Sofia. I was in Bulgaria. Then I flew from there to Budapest, Hungary, and then the last stop was Berlin. This was a trip of 3 stops, so no, I know it was not environmentally friendly. I was using all those planes, but it got me where I needed to go in a short amount of time. Now that I'm older, I'm trying to do more slow travel, you feel me? Now, for accommodation, it's going to be hostels in Europe every single time. Hostels are going to offer you, not all, but some are going to offer you free cancellations. This means that you can make your reservation ahead of time. And if you decide that you find a better one, maybe a cheaper deal on booking.com or Hostelworld, you can cancel the other one without losing any money. The ones that I'm going to recommend are the Meininger. These are all pretty much in central Berlin. St. Christopher's has good reviews. Remember, in my previous video, I was talking about with hostels, you want to look at location, friendliness of staff, and cleanliness. And the one that I stayed at was the Generator. I've talked about the Generator. They have locations all around the world. This one was the Central Berlin Met Generator. And this one was great for me because I ended up meeting a group of people and I hung out with them the whole time. They, I think, were more organized than I was. And, they just invited me, I think because I was downstairs at breakfast and I met one guy who was from Brazil and he was like, oh, hey, I did a little chit chat. And I was like, oh, what are you guys doing? I like to compare itineraries with other people because I hadn't planned anything. I had an idea of things that I wanted to do, but it's always good to compare itineraries with fellow travelers. He said, oh, this is what we're going to be doing from day to day. Do you want to come with us? I was like, bet. Because then, I'm not saying that Berlin is unsafe, but you are with a group of people. It's good to be traveling with males because as a solo female traveler, I don't know, some issues may arise, especially if you're trying to go out at night. I went with them to the main attractions. I went with them to the Christmas markets. We even went to Sachsenhausen, which is the concentration camp. So I really appreciated their company. Yes, I could have done this by myself, but this is one advantage of hostels, meeting people. If the vibe isn't right, you don't have to. After that first experience, they woke me up because I tend to be late. They were like, Janelle, yo, like, we got to be on time. They told me to make the purchase. They gave me the website. These people were on it. I'll show you some pictures of us here. One thing I always like to do, the people I meet while I'm traveling, in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to visit their country. The guy from Brazil, I wanted to go visit Brazil. One girl, she was from one of the stand countries. I don't know how to, there's a lot of them. I don't want to say the wrong one, if it was Kazakhstan or not. One guy was from Russia. I'm like, one day I will visit Moscow. It was just a great group of people. I still follow them and occasionally check their journeys on Instagram. Right now, I'm not on the socials, but anyways, I want to thank you guys if y'all are watching this video. Y'all made my experience in Berlin more meaningful. Check out Meininger, St. Christopher's, and definitely the Generator. The Generator and the Meininger have more than one location in Berlin. It just depends on what neighborhood that you want to be in. There is Potsdamer Platz, there's Alexanderplatz. All of these neighborhoods are going to have a lot of things, restaurants, there's cafes, entertainment. So again, it depends on what area you want to be in. No visit to Berlin is complete without visiting its iconic landmarks. I'm going to start out with the Brandenburg Gate. This is a historic symbol of unity and peace. It is touristy. Again, I'm a tourist. It's my first time there. I am going to want to be there and visit it. I also went to visit the Berlin Wall Memorial and the East Side Gallery. This used to be a barrier that divided the city. Now it is an art gallery. You can take all of the various pictures. There are going to be the famous iconic ones. You see the two men kissing. You see this one of the man over here. It's bright and colorful. I was very cold when I went to Berlin. That's why you see me in that jacket and hat the whole time. Like, there was no fashion sense going on here. I was freezing. Berlin has a poppin' street art scene. Berlin streets are a canvas of creativity. You can check out the graffiti and enjoy all of the street art. Some neighborhoods that you might want to check out are Kreuzberg and Friedrichshain. A lot of these artworks are thought-provoking. They have hidden murals. A lot of these make political statements. You want to take the time to browse amongst the Berlin street art. I did mention the Christmas markets. It is such a delight to be in Eastern Europe during Christmas. Come on. I started out in Bulgaria and then I was in Hungary. Germany, it's all such a delight. Like the smells, it's really festive with seeing the twinkling lights. You get the mulled wine. There's so many treats to taste, lots of handmade crafts. They can even give you the Christmas shows. The Christmas markets are definitely a must. There is a tribute to the victims of the Holocaust, and it is located in Berlin. This is called the Memorial to the Murdered Jews of Europe. It is a very solemn experience. When I went there, you want to reflect. I told you I also visited the concentration camp that's a little bit outside of Berlin. Here is where you see all of the columns. You're able to walk around and reflect of those lives lost during that horrible, horrible time in history. I'll also talk about Sachsenhausen. This is the concentration camp. You are probably going to want to have a day of fun after this, because by the end of this tour, my stomach, it just felt sick. I was in a very, very sad mood. I visited a lot of concentration camps around the world, and this one is no different. Sachsenhausen is a former Nazi concentration camp. It honors the memory of its victims. You can see the barbed wire. I mean, it is so realistic. I needed some time to decompress for sure. As a Black American, I have begun to realize that we are not the only ones who have experienced struggle. All right, those murdered Jews throughout all of history, it is going to evoke emotions with you. Berlin also has a wide variety of museums, some of these which offer free admission. You should check out UNESCO site Museum Island. There is the Topography of Terror and the Jewish Museum Berlin. I already mentioned the East Side Gallery. That's not necessarily a museum. It is open air gallery, and it features the painted murals. There is free museum access on the first Sunday of the month. You can just look up all of the different museums to get an idea of where you want to visit. Oktoberfest would be a good time to visit if you're into the beer. You can go to the Brandenburg Gate, definitely go to the Berlin Wall Memorial, the East Side Gallery, check out all of the street art and graffiti. If you're going during Christmas time, definitely visit the markets. If you are more of a history buff, you can go to the Memorial to the Murdered Jews of Europe, also Sachsenhausen concentration camp. Hitler's bunker, where his bunker was. A lot of people go to that spot and urinate, they pee on top of it. Whatever you decide. I was on a walking tour. That's another thing too. But they showed me the picture. I'm like, is this really where he was? I'm not sure. Sometimes these walking tours, they kind of embellish. Somebody said they give a lot of propaganda. I'm not trying to hate on any of the tour guides with the walking tours. Also, free walking tours. That's a great way for you to be introduced to the city. If you're enjoying this video, go ahead and leave a comment below. If you've been to Europe before, Germany, what was your opinion or thoughts of Berlin? Tell me all of the activities that you did. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. Berlin is wonderful because it is a hub for European train travel. Hauptbahnhof is one of Europe's largest train stations. Make sure that you familiarize yourself with this station so that you can get from city to city if you so choose. Cities I recommend would be Munich. If you want to leave Germany, maybe go to Prague. Once it is time for you to travel, you're not confused during transfers. A lot of Germans, they can spot the tourists because we are the ones looking confused and lost in the train station. It happens. Go to the ticket machines or counters, make your purchase, and then board the train. The only thing is when you are departing, you want to make sure that you validate it. A lot of passengers, they walk out and they forget to validate it, and that is very important in Berlin. A lot of other cities around Europe. Always validate your ticket. HBF connects travelers to destinations throughout Germany and across Europe. They have an extensive network of train services with modern facilities. You can get Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi, as they call it, underground, so that you are able to connect. And if you're not taking the train, you can also walk. There's bikes, so many different options for you to get around in Germany. Now, you are probably going to want to bring an umbrella. It does rain a lot. Definitely have some comfortable walking shoes. They don't have to be hiking shoes or anything like that, but I wouldn't be walking around in heels. You are going to really wear your feet out by all of the walking. This is an active city, you guys. You might think that Germany is just known for meat and potatoes. That's all it has to offer. But as a vegetarian, I was pleasantly surprised. You might not know that Berlin is one of the European capitals that is known to be vegan and veggie friendly.
Oh, yeah.
Some might call it the vegan capital of Europe. And you can always get traditional versions of the German food. Kartoffelsuppe, this is their potato soup. It's cooked with obviously potatoes, onions, leeks, and carrots. That is something that vegetarians can enjoy, and it is nice, filling, and hearty. The bretzel are the soft, doughy pretzels. They like to eat them with mustard. That's something different for me, but I do like eating pretzels. The bretzels. Apple strudels. This is a delicious sweet pastry. Y'all know apple strudels. It has raisin, cinnamon, and spiced apples. My favorite is fast food. It's called currywurst. The currywurst is cut into bite-sized chunks, and it is usually served with a side of fries. I get the vegetarian version of it, and you dip it into their curry ketchup. I really like to have the seasoned ketchup. You have to try it. Every time I visit Germany, I have to eat the currywurst. It is so good. And I don't even care if they cooked it on the meat grill.
Huh?
I'm like, I won't eat that every time. It gives it a little bit of pop. A couple of restaurants that I would recommend that you visit if you are looking to eat healthy would be 1990 Vegan Living, Bommibel's Donuts, and a lot of the other places where I was eating. I don't recall the name of them. With the group, we went to some restaurants and I would just order something plant-based off of the menu. Since this is considered the vegan capital of Europe, you're going to be able to find a lot of delicious meals. Of course, you want to try the German food as well. They have good Thai food. There's good Indian. Like, this is Germany. You're going to find you some good eats for real. As always, if you are traveling to a new country for the first time, you want to research some of the phrases so that you can try to fit in. A good number of Germans are fluent in English. America, the USA, we are the ones who only speak one language, all right? Some of the common phrases might be hallo, Guten Tag. In a restaurant, you probably want to know how to order for the food, the menu, 1 beer, 2 beer, 3 beers, wine. At the end, you say danke, which is thank you. I learned a lot of these phrases, and it's always good to at least attempt to communicate with the locals. If you are just coming for an extended stay, or if you're planning to spend more time, Berlin offers first-time visitors so much to do. Whether it's the dynamic cultural scene, the delicious cuisine, or taking in all of the rich history, Berlin has something for you. I want you to definitely look into Europe. It's one of my favorite. I'm saying this for everywhere. It's like all of these destinations. It's my love letter to it as I look back at all of the places that I've traveled. If you enjoyed this guide, go ahead and give me a like on this video. Thank you so much. And you can check out this video for future destinations that you might be interested in. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see you in a week.